tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show.
What's up, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of the Tailgate Show. Coming off a 28-19 loss to the Packers. This is going to be probably a little more raw reaction than we normally bring because it is game day. I kind of pushed to go today because it's the same day as the game and we can get on with our bye week as fans too. It's been a brutal season as far as watching all these L's. So it's going to be kind of refreshing to get the time off ourselves, but here we are, guys. How are you?
There it is.
Just a quick take on how you guys are coping right now.
Conflicted.
Well, I didn't expect us to win. I didn't pick us to win, and we subsequently went out and did not win. I hate losing to the fucking Packers. This is probably the most beatable Packer team we've had in our house for 20 years.
Yep.
And we just shit the bed. And I can't really expect that this defense or the offense, really, for that matter, I would have expected more from the offense, but I didn't expect the defense to play as well as it did. But here we are, holding on to that draft status.
Conflicted for me. Obviously, like Jer said, most beatable Packers team in the last 20 years. About first, second quarter, I'm thinking, man, it would be really nice to win this one. If it is Aaron Rodgers' last game at Soldier Field, which I doubt it is, but, I think at this point it's probably best case scenario. You saw a little bit of progress from Justin Fields, and we get to keep our, as of right now, second overall draft pick. So, good and bad, bittersweet, I guess is the best word for it.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. I kind of felt going into this game, it didn't feel like a normal Packers-Bears game where I'm all jacked up. I kind of knew what the outcome was going to be.
Yeah.
I think I got to give the team credit for putting me as a fan in the position of the game mattering, right? It started mattering the way our team was playing because it looked good, and it's against the Packers. You got more into it as the game went on, and I think
Absolutely.
I think we didn't expect that, so it's like a glass half full or whatever you want to call it, but
it's a 13-point lead, man.
Making this game as interesting as I did, it made me enjoy the game, and I didn't think I was going to go into this game and enjoy anything about it. So considering with how we watched some young cornerbacks today and young defensive backs step the fuck up. Yes, they let them play. I think there was a lot of. I think we can't really bitch about refs much because for the first time we actually saw refs let us get away with shit. But at the same time, these young guys fucking stepped right the fuck up. I think the defense played way better than I expected. Even with Justin, man,
a banged up defense at that.
Yeah.
The thing with Justin is I want it to happen fast because we waited so long for it, and we know this kid can do it, right? So it's impatience on my part, and I'll be the first to admit it. I expected him to be a lot further along with his passing, but a lot comes into play with that, and unlike the whole Mitch Trubisky bullshit on Twitter, I'm not getting into this shit on Twitter. I can't stand the fact that it's becoming to the point with these. I'll throw shit later, but with the fans, it's like politics in sports, and I hate that shit. There has to be a right or a left. There can't be a center.
And it's so far right and so far left on the Justin Fields talk.
He showed progression today.
It showed pocket discipline.
It's moving slower than I thought, but there was progress here today. There was pocket presence.
Yeah. Pocket discipline, not to run, looking downfield, throwing passes.
You need to have the reps to get better, and I think they formed the game plan that allowed him to get those reps. I think that he showed progress. This is one of his more balanced games as a pro. He showed the speed. A big part of today's performance from Justin is, unlike when we've seen QBs get hurt in the past, I don't want to talk about the dude's name too much because I'm tired of talking about him too.
Right.
he didn't show a lot of like cautiousness. He still showed that even though he's injured, he's not going to get cautious. He's still got that killer instinct. That's huge. And I think overall, I mean, the 2 picks, EQ got pretty soft in position on one of them, and I think the anticipation, there wasn't much of an anticipation.
The second throw was late.
It was late, absolutely,
because he pumped
late
it.
enough to get jumped off.
Yeah, he pumped and then he threw it. It was like he knew. I think he knew he shouldn't have thrown it.
I think he did too. That one's also down 9 with 40 seconds left. I'm not too much worried about that one. The first one I do think is more on EQ. Did not come back to the ball, rounded off that route horribly.
He takes an extra. If you watch it, he takes an extra shuffle step trying to get back to the ball, and by that time Alexander's already on him.
But I do think it's fair to say that Justin did take an extra hitch too many, and he was late on that throw. But I think if the route was better by EQ, I don't think that's the result of the play. I don't think we're talking about an interception there. Maybe a batted down ball. If anything.
I'm okay with the interceptions though, because like he has to get better at it, and doing it live is the best way to do it. So in a season like this, yes, it's the Packers. You don't want to see mistakes. You don't want to lose to them, but we're finally. That's progress in the right direction to allow him to develop into who we know he's going to be if this continues. You need to get him passing.
You're getting some roster evaluation too while you're doing it. You know, you're evaluating the quarterback. You're evaluating the offensive line. You're evaluating these receivers. You know, Chase Claypool. You know, he gets dinged on the fumble, which I still don't know that was a fumble. I thought it was really close.
I agree.
But, you know, he's come alive the last 3 weeks. I think there's something to that.
Came back in the game. I didn't think he was going to.
Yeah.
Came back in the game. You hit a deep ball to EQ. You know, good and bad.
Deep
and
ball
then
to
you
Harry.
hit one the deep ball to Harry.
Both career longs for them.
Yep.
And, Jer, go ahead. Who was in on the both those plays?
Alex Leatherwood playing right tackle. Those are the only – he played early in that second quarter drive and then in that fourth quarter drive. But I like that they're shuffling guys in. I think it's time. You know, I think we as fans already kind of know this team's not going anywhere, right? They're just not. I mean, you got to see what you got. And I think you saw a guy in Blackwell take advantage of his chance today. He gets it with a kind of if had he turned a little bit, he wouldn't have got that PI. But what do you do on an underthrown ball? That's Aaron Rodgers getting a free 38 yards, unfortunately. But for his first game, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Jack Sanborn still seems to be making instinctful play and making good tackles.
So to finish my point,
sorry.
Cautiously optimistic after that game.
Cautiously.
Just figured I'd close my.
With
Sorry,
Justin
man,
or the direction of the team?
Yeah.
Or both.
What's that?
I said you're cautiously optimistic about Justin or the team or both?
I think all of it. I mean, like, the bar is low, man. I wasn't expecting to beat Green Bay today. I was expecting to get boat race. So it is what it is. I know where we're at this season. So, like, to me, like, still showing fight. It's all positive stuff. Like I said, they're playing
except for
hard.
the defensive line.
No, they're playing hard. The talent isn't where it needs to be.
0 sacks, 0 QB hurries, 0 QB hits.
The D line's brutal, man.
Terrible.
Ball sack bad. They're terrible.
It's just that's what I'm impressed with. Like the defensive back group, even the backups have been holding up pretty damn good, all things considered.
And like you said last week with Sanborn, you know, being able to be as productive as he is with that defensive line in front of him, that was
Sanborn's playing out of his mind, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his instincts, man.
Yeah.
See ball, get ball, read it, get to it. Love it.
He's also able to fight and around through blocks. I think I'm not saying he's better than Roquan at this point. I just think Roquan sort of struggled with that a little bit at times.
He takes good angles. I think that's one thing. He takes good angles of pursuit to get through linemen, so he doesn't have to take on the blocker necessarily.
It's an opposite development than I think it should be, where the guys that are playing behind the defensive line are shining. But having said that, when they get the guys that they need on that defensive line, it's going to make life easier for these guys who are developing at a pretty damn good rate.
True. I agree.
You got a chance. I mean, you got a chance to reset it all. And I think we were talking in the chat about this roster construction, right? The roster construction versus where we had to come from to deconstruct it. I'd say it's been a successful year, like you said, Brian. It was, you were left with nothing. And now going into this next year, you have tangible fucking pieces to work with on the draft board. You have tangible salary cap that you can use. I'd say that successful so far with that. And even though we weren't successful on the field today, I think that's something we can keep in our back of our minds. It's like, remember where we were with no capital, nothing that you could look forward to.
A lot of dead cap space.
Yep.
He was behind the 8 ball with being able to accomplish too much talent-wise.
Right. Byron Pringle.
Yeah. I think for me it's a mixed bag, Jer. I think a lot of these things we still don't really know yet. Like, I don't know what this coaching staff is yet ultimately. There's been some good, there's been some bad. You've seen the culture buy-in.
My one point with the head coach is it is the culture buy-in. Nobody's quitting. That's a big thing. I mean, that's a big deal.
But if the winning, I think it's easier to buy into a new culture to start off, unless you're like, you had a team full of veterans when Lovie Smith left. Like, that team was never going to buy into Trestman or probably anybody coming in there after Lovie. I think now you see we're the youngest team in the NFL. I think the buy-in's a little bit easier at first, but if this doesn't start translating into wins, especially a lot of these close games next year, I think the buy-in of the culture is really going to be tested at that point.
Then how important is the buy-in with as many people as we have on one-year deals? I wonder about that too.
You mean like guys playing harder because they know that they have to put something on tape or or get paid elsewhere? Yeah. I think it's a combination of both. I think this coaching staff has done a good job keeping this team fighting through every single game. And I think we've all said it, but I think Diddy really kind of hit on it today. It's a talent deficiency issue at the end of the day. I don't think we really know what they are as coaches because of that. It's hard to get an evaluation of a lot of things right now. Like, what is Alan Williams? I don't really know.
Alan Williams was with Dungy when he was in Indy. He played us in the Super Bowl as a defensive backs coach. He's been with some of the top guys that have run this defense. I'm not really worried about him. And that kind of like, you can tell that the ball hawk mentality, the hits principle, whatever you want to say, is getting through to these guys. Like, they played pretty. They're playing pretty well, all things considered. I didn't expect the world from this defense. So, like today, 3 quarters they were doing all right.
Yeah.
You can only give Rodgers so many opportunities, and it wasn't all Rodgers. I get that, but like,
ultimately, he's the quarterback that throws the ball, and Christian Watson, the guy that you had the biggest crush on coming out, turns out to be a killer.
He is. He's 14-point swing.
Yep. Now, I think on the jet sweep, I think they kind of let him score. I think at one point you almost had to get the ball back. But that was like with we scored with 140 left. Or 150, somewhere around there. So,
it sucks losing to Green Bay.
Fuck yeah!
Don't get me wrong, man. But like, again, like,
aren't we sort of used to it by now, though? Like, it doesn't faze me as much as it used to be honest.
The kickers, once I have Packer fans that are friends start texting me and, we're going to lose. Every fucking time we play them and they get down, we're going to lose. You guys got this one.
Yeah,
it's early.
My brother does that every time.
Well, they constantly, let's not act like these dudes don't constantly doubt their
pity
team.
Fucking messages. I hate pity.
Dude,
it's not
every
pity.
Game, every year.
They really do this to themselves. They're like, he won't come back. And like, come on. Like, we lived this. Like, stop the bullshit. I said it's early, bro. Like,
only the Bears can snatch the feet from the child.
We've seen this movie how many times.
I had my dad, who's a Packers fan, bitching about the refs. I was like, man, all the holding that Rodgers has gotten through the years, 8 seconds in the pocket, I was like, stop it. I said, for a Packer fan to be bitching about refs is fucking ridiculous. Like, knock it off.
For the first time, too, like, in a long time, I can say that I think the refs did a damn good job today during the game. I did think Claypool was down on that fumble, but overall, they let the guys play out there. They weren't calling a bunch of ticky-tack bullshit. I thought overall the refs surprisingly called a really good game.
A.J. Dillon was not touched down.
Okay, that one, too. I would say that. That one was more egregious than the Claypool one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was.
I thought they did a good job. It was nice. It was refreshing to see, let them, just be a little bit more physical out there and play.
It's interesting to see that your guy Trenton Gill is doing kickoffs now, huh?
He's done that now a couple of weeks. There's been a couple of weeks where Santos isn't back there.
I wonder if he's hurt.
Well, he can't fucking kick a ball cleanly, evidently, Mr. Santos.
I mean, it's a sign to something if he's not doing kickoffs, so maybe he's...
And what's like the PAT thing starting to become a problem, over the last, what?
You think he's ailing an injury? That's why they have somebody else kicking?
It's certainly possible. I could see that.
What about fucking we had Money Badger now in Detroit? You had him in-house while he was hurt. How do you let him go? I mean, I get because Santos was on a burner at that point. But since that time...
We should have brought your boy in with the glasses, Jay. Remember how bad you wanted him?
Rodrigo Blankenship. Give me some of that.
Did Badgley got signed elsewhere how long ago, though?
He's in Detroit.
Yeah, but that was what?
Literally the week after we cut him.
Well, I mean, you had Santos coming back. You've paid Santos. You're not keeping 2 kickers on a roster.
Are you keeping Santos now?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not at the point with Santos because of a couple missed PATs that I'm all of a sudden souring on him. Last 2 seasons, Santos has been absolute money, and sometimes almost our entire offensive production.
Biscuits, honestly, if I were you, bro, I'd just go watch soccer. You get so fired up about people that kick footballs. Like, honestly, just to get a break from this shit, just go watch soccer. You love kicking.
Dude, kickers and punters need love too, okay? They're like the fat,
easy,
significant other of football, okay? So,
saved you from
nice save, right?
So
now, I think it's a valid question. I want y'all's input. Do you think at this point, is it worth it because the kicker's confidence is so important? If he is nagging a little bit of an injury, do you just go ahead and shut him down now to be safe and bring in somebody else?
The kicker talk.
Dude, I mean, confidence is a big, big part of the kicking game. There's so many times where a kicker will go into a slump somewhere, they get cut. Robbie Gould was in a slump here before we cut him. He's credited multiple times that the only reason he's had this resurgence with the 49ers is because we cut him and let him go.
I just hate talking about kickers since Cody Parkey, man. It's such a
let me tell you
thing to talk about.
This was Santos's fucking resurgence because he was at Kansas City, correct?
Good Lord, the World Cup is on your guys' mind, bro.
Well, Santos has been a couple places, including with us previous.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He's been money for 2 years. He's missed some. Dude, you've paid him. How much? I don't know how much he's owed past this season.
Yeah, I
don't want to keep talking because I know his head's about to.
Here's what I'm going to say. You hit a field goal, and guess what? That's a 2-score game. It's a 9-point game, right?
Jared, didn't he just break? Who was it? Was it Kevin Butler's record?
You missed an extra point. You missed an extra point. You missed a field goal, or no? You got your field goal blocked from 40 yard. A 40-yard field goal. How many 40-yard field goals do you see get blocked?
Did you rewind the tape? Was it a low kick? Was it someone not getting some hands down?
It was a
bad snap. I'd have to go back and watch.
Kick was fine. The hold was fine. The snap was perfect.
Yeah, the hold probably was. The hold was probably perfect. I already know that part. I don't got to review that.
Shit.
Did you see Trenton Gill take that low snap off the ground? Excellent.
No, but I did see Justin taking low snaps all fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
Mustafa, bro. Ugh.
He's got to go.
Is Dougie back? Is he healthy?
Bring in Dougie.
Is your kinfolk healthy, Jer?
I don't know. I'll have to put a phone
I
call.
mean,
into
he seems to be holding up better in
I'll
blocking.
hit him up on
I'll
Skype.
give him that. Mustafer's been less of a liability than we've seen, but some of the snaps just seem low today. Like,
Yeah.
anyway,
Especially late.
Wyatt Kramer in the chat. I wanted to just address this real quick. Cowboys dropping 54 on the Colts right now. That's because Flus isn't there anymore. That's the effect of losing.
Oh, there it is.
The Flus juice.
Oh, damn.
The positivity is just overflowing.
Let's go ahead and end the show now on that high note. Go into the bye week riding high, guys.
Still concerned about Brisker and
That's the plan, Biscuits.
Gordon with these concussions. Do you think it was a planned thing to get them through the bye week and then let them finish the season out?
Could have been that. Could have been they maybe weren't close enough to even coming back, even if the Bears wanted them to. I mean, I don't know. Head injuries can be weird. Concussions can sometimes be a week. Sometimes it could be 2-3 weeks.
True that.
It's a very, very random type of injury. I don't think there was any reason to rush him back, though.
Right.
Especially Brisker. I mean, I think we already know Brisker's a dog. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Kyler Gordon come back this year if healthy, if the head is fine, because I do think he needs to see
what you have in Elijah
reps.
Hicks, though.
Oh, yeah, he got beat for the one touchdown.
Yep. Who was it that caught that for them?
In his defense, though, he was trying to cover Watson.
Hey, it matters. Yeah, it was Watson, Jerry.
No, of course it was.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do? Where do you go from here? How do you?
It's hard seeing guys like Watson ball out for another team, kind of like Jefferson. It's nice seeing other teams in our division have top targets, isn't it?
Yeah, and Detroit got their dog back. They got their first round wide receiver back this week.
And they got the right St. Brown too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good.
It's fucking shitty whenever you can look at Detroit and say they have more hope than what we have right now, I think.
It's the NFL, and I know you guys, we had this discussion in the chat, and you're saying it's Detroit, though, but it's the NFL, and it's an NFL organization that's in year 2 of their rebuild.
Well, the Rams accelerated.
And I know Detroit always manages to play worse than us, but they might have the right staff in place to try to get things in the right direction. Finally.
I agreed with all your logic in the thread. Yeah, naturally, in the year 2 of their rebuild, they should be further along than us.
They got a veteran quarterback, too, that's...
It's painful to accept the fact that Detroit actually might, like you said, have gotten their coaching hire right. They might actually finally be building something the right way. They haven't forced another quarterback after getting the haul and taking Jared Goff off LA's hands. They're still going to take a quarterback here pretty soon. Eventually, Goff's not going to be the
sure,
the
but Goff's not the worst thing in the world either.
No, he's actually playing, I think, conceivably better than most people expected him to when he got shipped off there. Go ahead, Pony.
Okay, here's if you were, say both jobs became open today, Chicago and Detroit, which one would you prefer?
Chicago.
You got more pieces in Detroit. I might take Detroit.
Yeah, but theoretically, you have a lot of cap space, a lot of draft. And granted, the cap space, we've already talked at length about that not going as far, but the draft picks, a better market.
I'd rather live near Chicago than Detroit.
Well, yeah.
Also,
I'm talking strictly
that
football,
too.
man.
It's part of the thing, though. You got to understand you'll be living there, too.
You've got starting tackles. You've got a defensive end. You have Akuda that's still young.
Do they have?
You have fucking 2 very young and up-and-coming wide receivers.
I'm good, bro. It's Detroit.
And you got a good running back already in place.
Yeah, Jamal Williams is pretty good.
Yeah. I think I would take that situation over the Chicago situation.
Wow.
No.
Well, you got a running back on an expiring contract this year or next year?
I think it's too hard to say. They're in year 2 of their rebuild. Let's
This
look
year,
at
Jer.
I know. I'm just saying, as it stood right now.
We can have this discussion. I can't have the discussion until next year, though. You don't know. I think Poles is in pretty good position to rebuild things. He's not locked into a ton of guys.
Correct.
He's got the draft picks.
I mean, Detroit has more draft picks.
Wyatt might be right. that just because of that LA trade, they actually might have more this year.
Yeah, they've got higher picks.
What, 8 or 9 picks this year?
Yeah, guess where they'll be picking next year, thanks to the fucking Rams.
Yeah, but you're taking over
3.
some. So here's the thing, Jer. From a position where I would be at is you're taking over a situation that's already 2 years into their rebuild. Where here you can mold this to what you want it to be. You got $130 million to spend. You're going to get one of the top draft picks in the draft. You've got Justin Fields at least. It's better than any rookie quarterback coming out. So you've got to factor those things in. And I'd rather have more control and more say. I'm taking over someone else's work more in Detroit. It's not my hands on it because these guys have already been here. Like
the fact that it's even a conversation is a problem to me.
No, what I'm saying is this is a rebuild, and I think like if you're coming into an organization where you're choosing between jobs, it's because the ownership's not happy with where things are going. Here you have more of a chance to show your impact. That's all I'm saying, because it's so raw right now. It's down to the studs. I would take Chicago, and the city's better.
I think Detroit's in a really good position moving forward, but I'm with Diddy. I would have to stay.
Do you see a scenario where Green Bay ends up being the new Detroit, like the Green Bay that we grew up with before Brett Favre?
That low? No. I think they're going to be at the bottom of the division here if Rodgers leaves. But I don't see them becoming.
No.
30-year stretch of never winning the division since '92. No, I don't see that happening.
Because if they're going to keep LaFleur, and everybody knows his offense on that team, so that a young quarterback coming in, if it is Love or somebody else, is playing around guys that already know what they're doing. Where like Justin, that's another thing with Justin, right? Second system. Everybody's first year besides a guy that hasn't even been on the field, and EQ.
Right.
Everybody else is new to this, so like Justin is trying to bring them along, which
guess what? Other than
Green Bay, things are already there, so like
other than Claypool and Kmet, it's going to be the same way next year with no receivers, with any experience in the offense, pretty much. Are you keeping Pettis? Are you keeping N'Keal Harry? Probably not.
N'Keal's a guy, maybe, yeah.
I think you keep N'Keal to back up Claypool. You get a big body guy, yeah.
You could see a very similar situation coming down the pipe.
I wouldn't mind EQ being 3 if Darnell's back. I would take EQ over Pringle. He needs to get better.
By Jared, though, there's definitely going to be maybe half the offense here that's going to be new, coming and learning the system. I think that's a fair point.
Except for with the exception of your guard.
I don't know all the contract lengths here. You're saying everybody's 1 year on the offense?
Well, your receivers mostly are. Except for Pringle. Pringle's a 2-year. However much we overpaid for him.
In theory, your 2 starting wide receivers are both back.
N'Keal had 2. I don't know. I'd have to look it all up, Jer. I don't know how much N'Keal has left.
Okay. Either way, I'm just saying.
Claypool will be here. Mooney will be here, right?
Pretty sure N'Keal's on an expiring contract this year.
Yeah.
And EQ was only 1 season?
EQ was 1 season, I believe. I will double check that.
You bring him back, he'll be all right. I don't think you have to pay much for him. Who knows?
I don't either.
I don't know. I don't have the contracts in front of me to talk about it. Like, if half the offense is literally going to be gone next year.
You're looking up Spot Rack now, aren't you?
Yeah, the last year of N'Keal's contract was voided, so this is his last year here.
That's what I was looking to. So you beat me to it. And I don't know, man.
Cole.
Cole.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming up to the point where you're going to have to decide, is Cole a guy worth paying and keeping?
He's starting to show a little bit more consistently, which is good. Of course, the passing offense is getting a little bit better, I think.
I think I'd be okay if they paid Cole top 10 to 15 money.
Oh, top in the 10 to 15 range? 100% I would be okay with that.
I think that's where he's at. So, like,
I think just naturally supply and demand, especially with tight ends hitting free agency, I think that's likely a position that's going to maybe get typically overpaid based on where your production probably falls. But
Which
I mean,
brings.
I think Komet's. I mean, I would not mind paying Komet. I think he is just scratching the surface with limited opportunities. Most of this first half of the year, he was kept in line as a blocker for so damn long, which he does exceptionally well. And I think he can develop more in the receiving game with more opportunities. Cole's a keeper for me.
Yep. And you see Hawkinson brought a second from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, there's value there. And he does, I think he's a better rounded tight end than Hawkinson. Because he can block and he can catch.
I think Hawkinson's a little bit more fluid in the passing game.
Absolutely. But
I do think Komet's a better blocker. So maybe
it's probably a push. Maybe it's a push.
He's got pretty damn good hands for a guy that plays the way he does, though. It's pretty impressive.
Who, Komet?
Yeah.
And that's actually gotten better.
Yeah.
He had some drop issues there.
He's playing better.
Yeah.
And Justin trusts him, so that's huge.
That was two of the best plays I thought in this game today. Was the one that he fired over the middle to Cole, and Cole took a big shot and held onto that football. And the other one, I believe, was to Cole, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, where Justin kind of kept his eyes downfield, and right before the line of scrimmage, he threw, I think it was also another third down there in the first or second quarter.
Yeah, where he backpedaled a couple more yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice to see a little bit of that. Be nice to see more of that.
Well, even with the defense, a lot of the defense that was playing today, a lot of those guys are going to be depth pieces going forward. That's good that they're getting live reps.
Yeah.
You gotta with the development process, you gotta kind of recognize that stuff too, and it's a game within the game, right? You're trying to see these guys develop for next season. And there's a new adult dating chat for free.
Yay!
Russia is in the chat, bro.
XXX69 nice. .biz.
And it's gone.
See, .biz, that means it's a classy type
and
of stuff.
Wyatt is signing up for it as we speak.
Yeah, so I want to address something that Wyatt said in the chat. Is Duke Shelley actually playing good football right now, or is this some Minnesota drunk evaluation?
He's making plays for him.
Is he?
Yeah, he's their fifth corner, and he has to play, so he's making plays. So there's that. And that's Vikings chat.
Duke says
Come back
go.
for Vikings week.
Duke says go until they blow it in the playoffs.
And there it is.
Purple Rain stops right around the second round usually, so I'm not too worried about it.
I still think that's why we lost the 2006 Super Bowl. Speaking of Purple Rain, was Prince. As soon as he came out singing at halftime, the game went downhill.
Yep. So you guys have any goats to the game? I don't know.
What a segue.
I'm not much on segues. You don't want to see me on a segue.
Goats of the game.
I was taking notes just to come up to this point in the show too.
Okay.
Really anticipating this.
So
yeah,
Blackwell and Jones.
Going with the two young guys in the corners, huh?
No, I think I guess I'll give them the young DBs in general today. I think they held up much better than I thought they would. Of course, we're all going to say Justin, but then
I will say the one pass that he had where he steps up through the middle, there's a guy right in his face, and he throws a fucking dime. I'm here for that. That's growth. That's the one throw today that I looked at him and was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, that's what we want to see. So, as far as my go to the game, jeez. I'm going to take David Montgomery.
Oh, so I try to give you guys a layup, so if you don't say him, I'll say him. All right. And why Montgomery?
Ran hard, got the rushing touchdown, picked up a few blocks. I mean, all in all, pretty good game.
Almost had a nice fingertip catch. That was a bad throw by Justin behind him.
Thought you were going to go a different direction with that.
Oh, no.
You pause. You kind of. There's a little delay between the finger and the tip.
No, I already
always
saved myself once tonight. My go to the game is Jack Bartholomew. Sanborn, 10 tackles, continues to be just, I think, a guy who's really earned himself an opportunity to start next year. 827,000 affordable, great value, and one less thing to worry about next offseason.
Agreed.
Did you get all worked up when you saw Rodgers jawing with him like he did with the great Urlacher? And
Yeah, I saw a couple of those meatball takes on Twitter. I don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there. Next.
So, were
He's
those
playing-
your
he's
true
playing-
goats of the game?
I would have picked Sanborn too. I mean, but I think the young defensive backs impressed today. I agree though, Biz, because dude is balling for an undrafted guy. Man, that's awesome to see.
Yep. Good instincts. Good instincts will take you to the ball all the time.
To get an undrafted guy coming into his
With
first
this
year
defensive line.
playing like this, it's a fucking win.
He's been your best free agent that you've brought in outside of Justin Jones.
Been one of our best rookies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say I
That's a
say
good
he's
point,
better
Peter.
than Justin Jones. You know
I
why?
do. I do too personally. I'm just saying that all the other
He
free
actually
agents,
hits
he's
people
not.
and tackles them.
I mean,
The
Justin
defensive
Jones
line,
has
the
played
defensive
well in
line doesn't do
spots.
shit.
He's played well in spots. I don't think he's a guy that he can be your best defensive lineman. And
If we can
that's
get-
the case, you're in trouble.
If we can get
He can
Armand
get
Watts, to like instead of just doing one awesome thing a game, if he could do like 4 of those, I would say he has a lot of potential. 'Cause,
Is
like, once-
Angelo Blackson dead? By the way, I'm
I
sorry.
don't know,
think he died.
but that dude just like once in a like that one play game he's been bringing Armand like oh shit, okay, we got a sack and the bar's so fucking low, right? But then he got like a tackle in the backfield. I'm like, oh shit, it's like Hicks used to do that multiple times a game.
Yep.
It's
Taco
like-
Charlton drew a false start.
I mean, we're not that far removed from a D line that kind of spoiled us.
True, that's very true.
Till Eddie Goldman went MIA and then
Sure,
Hicks was hurt.
sure. It's
So.
a full fucking blow up, bro. Like
Yeah, it is.
18 was not that long ago. Do you know what I mean?
You know,
Yeah.
it's a 10-win team. Didn't you know? Bears Twitter told you.
National
Hater.
media, I just find it funny
11-6 according to
Bears Twitter
Haters.
around September. Well, the national media, they're just hating and they're always fucking right, bro. I didn't even say shit this year. I'm like, nope. I've not fallen for this fucking trap. It's probably accurate. Like they have
We are.
real talent
Come on, we all said
evaluators.
it on the show too. We all knew what this team was going to be this year.
I'm just saying the level of research these networks and these
The tens of
media-
20s of people that listen to us.
I'm just saying the things that they have at their fingertips to make these opinions. It's crazy, right? Like they know what the fuck they're talking about. Like this team didn't have a lot of talent. One of the worst rosters in the NFL. We're playing into it.
I was specifically told that this is the year that we're going to see how much of a difference coaching makes. Talent doesn't matter, guys. It's the coaching. That was the problem.
Is that right?
That's just what I was told.
With the team that he happens to be on, Fields is damn fucking impressive.
I think he's the only reason why a lot of these games have even been close.
Correct. He's the only reason this team is anywhere near competitive. We saw that last week.
He's doing
Verbatim.
the best. He's doing the best he can to keep the engine running. There's a lot of things, and I'm not saying he can't make people better because I believe he has. He's shown that too this year.
I believe he's made the tackles a little bit better.
He lost his number one guy, and he still tried to spread it around as much as possible.
Do you think he looked better today with him gone? I think he did. I think he looked a lot better with him gone. He had to look elsewhere.
I think it's a small sample size as of right now. I'm not going to say based on one game.
I think he felt like he had to pass more because he was banged up. So
I think that 3rd and 5 he would have normally ran for it.
Outside of a couple RPOs, they didn't call a lot of specific design runs after his long touchdown run.
No, it pretty much stopped.
Yeah,
And then
you gotta
credit to
be-
Justin too because he
You gotta
dropped
think
back.
about that, yeah.
He dropped back and threw the ball.
I don't think he played cautiously, but the game plan definitely had to change to not get him hurt.
Correct.
Like, this is the balance that we really should be at with him. So, like, I'm glad that happens because he needs to develop. He needs to develop as a passer more. So I'm fine with the mistakes. I'm glad that we saw it. You know what I mean? I'm glad that we saw glimpses today, and more of them than normal from his arm, and we know he has that potential. So I'm overall, we wanted Justin to get better. We knew this season was going to suck. We saw him get better today, even though there were mistakes at the end. But we're seeing progression.
Yeah,
so
his completion percentage was good today.
And we held our draft position, so
3 for what? 2? What do you have? 240?
250 or 245, I think.
245, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean it's a season high for him this year. 254. I think
254.
I think Diddy alluded to it earlier about just how it's so far left and so far right. Like multiple things can be true, and I think it's okay to point out some of the things that Justin can do better or some of the mistakes. It's not an indictment that he can't learn from it or get better, but I don't know. It's just the amount of defending every single thing, no matter what.
Well, it doesn't help that Chicago media puts out these fucking all 22 guru fucking. Oh well, here's Trent Dilfer. Ho ho ho. Well, he looked right.
I mean, I like Trent's breakdowns.
Yeah,
I do too, but it's like you're inundated with this. Sometimes having too much information is just that. It's too much. It's too much to focus on.
It's too much if you go on Twitter, but like just to hear Trent talk, like I think he's doing great breakdowns every week. I'm assuming he's not going to be doing them the rest of the season because he got that head coaching job. But
yeah,
I have actually enjoyed it. It's probably been one of the better things that's being done on sports radio right now in Chicago.
I have to agree with that.
I mean, it seems like they've got that guy. There's another guy that's on there.
Yeah, but Trent's known him since high school, so he's not here to like promote him. He's given a pretty honest. He grades him pretty fairly. He does tell you what he does wrong. He does tell you what he needs to work on. He even gets into what they should be working on in practice. Like he's kind of nailing it.
I know. I'm just saying in general because it's not just him. There's 3 other guys doing the same thing, getting thousands of clicks because Bears fans are trying to figure out, is he the guy? Is he the guy? Guess what? He's the guy. He's the guy because the coaching staff says he's the guy. And he's the guy until the coaching staff says he's not the guy.
True, but to get a former NFL quarterback who I actually have always liked, Trent Dilfer, even as a player, to get his perspective and you're getting a different you're seeing it from a different vantage point. It's not just some guy that claims to be an expert. Like he was an expert.
Yeah, I mean, I just see it. I just see the things where it's paralysis by analysis.
He's also getting a head coach, college UAB, right? I believe he got that coach.
Correct.
He's a well-respected guy. This isn't some.
Oh, I don't disagree. I'm just
there's
saying.
a lot of clowns out there. Is what
I
I'm
use
saying.
Trent. I use Trent Dilfer as the benchmark there, just as everybody knows him. But it's all over any kind of media. If you're on YouTube, you search Justin Fields. It's fucking 8 or 9, 100 times, and 100 people that. Oh, he's doing this great, or he sucks, or this and that, and it's like
the talking heads you got to kind of take with a grain of salt, right? Like the ESPN shows and all that shit. There's a Hollywood aspect to that, right? But like when Trent's doing the breakdowns, man, it's just I've been enjoying them. I think it's been a bright spot in media coverage this season because I'm getting a lot out of what he has to say and seeing that on the field.
Him and JT's videos both. I agree. I like both their breakdowns.
Right.
But Twitter is just like
that's what my shade was more towards. Like, there's no nuance to the conversation. It's
you have to be on one side or the other. It's
correct.
You're turning my sports political, and I hate that shit. Like you have to pick a group. It's like group thought, but you have to be on one side or the other, and then you tag your boys in so they can get involved. Like me and Jared have been through this shit. Like
that's exactly what it is.
I've been on Twitter a long fucking time, so it's just like it's just recycled with different names in the arguments, and I'm just tired of the bullshit. Like it's okay to be in the center with it. Like, you want them to work out. If you haven't seen everything you want to see, that's okay too. If you feel like you maybe drinking the Bears Kool-Aid, that's fine too. You don't have to, like, there's no right or wrong. Like, ultimately, Justin Fields and this coaching staff, like Jair said, they're going to be the ones that are in control of this outcome or how they play on the field. Why fight amongst? I don't know. Fighting amongst ourselves as a fan base is just whack to me. Take that energy and bring it to other teams and have fun with it. Like, it's just, it's overbearing, man. Like, get some pussy.
There it is.
And cut.
I'm just
the analysis
I'm
you're
just
here
saying,
for.
like, or go take care of yourself. Like, that would be more enjoyable, right? Than like trying to build a reputation about a bunch of people that don't care about you. Like, that's a lonely life.
Yeah.
Like, Twitter is not real life, and football is supposed to be an escape from that. So, like, calm the fuck down, guys, and like
It's kind of
That's part of the thing. That's part.
here's this jail cell.
Well, I'm just saying,
take some of the enjoyment out of it whenever I get on
like,
there.
take up woodworking or spelunking or something. I don't know, like, I'm just like that. Get out and breathe some fresh air. Like, put your phone down.
Enjoy the ride. That's my whole thing. Is everyone wants to make these grand proclamations of everything is black and white right now. Just sit back and enjoy it, you know? I think Justin has a chance to be a guy here for 10 years.
But then it's so stupid, right? Because then they have to talk about their podcast in the argument because it's so dope.
Which we will be promoting, by the way.
Which I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? This we stick together, all this bullshit, and then you throw your podcast buddies, and they jump into the ring too because it's a Royal Rumble of dipshits. Like. Like, the amount of time that people spend on Twitter is almost sad. Like, seriously, like, live a little.
Social media is, in general.
Some people, that's their life,
bro. Like, they're breaking out like 200 tweets a day, just to get.
Some people do that, and some people have to take breaks from it and get away from it.
Yeah, but like,
and exchange it for a different.
I don't know.
Oh, was that some shade towards the fourth compadre? I think
it was not.
I think it was.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. I was thinking about what I was saying. What'd you say now?
Nothing.
I don't blame.
I mean, social media is a bitch, man. It just is. No matter what platform it is, it's just bad.
Oh, I like the reason I opened my Twitter account back in the day was just to get like the Schefter shit, like the news side of it. I was only following big outlets and like the guys that were breaking draft news because I'm not gonna sit around for 20 something hours on a weekend watching that shit when I could just get my updates, right?
Yeah.
That's why I started it. But like, the more I go into it, good lord.
It's gotten progressively worse. Like, too many people take themselves way too fucking seriously on there.
And they're soft.
And you have all your segments. You got
whiny little bitches, man.
You got the hype men. You know, you got all these different, like,
they're trying to build their own brand, and they really think that they're going to go from the basement to the big house.
They're going to take it national.
I mean, you can't. You just can't walk on to Michigan. You just can't.
Well, there's a bunch of examples to bring up. I mean, the hours and hours they put into this shit, like, good lord, man. Everybody thinks they're going to be the next big thing. They have to tweet out.
It hit. It just hit.
They have to tweet out when they get 10,000 downloads. Like, thank you so much. Like, fuck off, bro. Like, I don't know. We're fans.
Validate me. Validate me now. Give me that blue check mark.
We just said we're going.
Also, please subscribe and like to the podcast.
Yeah, it's right there.
Appreciate it. We'll have a giveaway next week. If the Bears win next week, we'll be giving away 2 tickets. Yeah.
We are actually going to be giving away signed pictures of Jay Cutler's ass.
Yeah. For this upcoming week only, though. The giveaway applies to this week only. So stay tuned for details.
The 3 of us will sign it just so.
God,
it's an art form of a way of just telling them to kiss our ass.
Love it. Love it.
I think Justin needs to go there this offseason. Catch that air. Just get some zen. He was already doing those breathing techniques earlier this year.
Stay away from the Rodgers fucking juice. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no Acapulco, whatever that shit was.
Yeah, I think people should feel free to be able to like post their thought about this team without getting dragged. Like, who gives a shit?
Correct.
Unless you're a complete jackass.
But if you're gonna call Ebner fucking, here's another little shade at a
all day Ebner.
There was was it Reggie Bush and who else was he saying that? Derrick Henry or something stupid.
No, Reggie Bush and Matt Forte.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Nobody was saying that shit.
Now, to clarify what he said after that tweet that was apparently a quote from a scout. I'm just telling you.
He didn't tweet it that way.
I Googled it. It actually is a quote from a scout.
Which is fine, but Biscuits, if I'm reading a draft breakdown and I say on Twitter, my feelings are, this guy has a really good lunge at and it's like word for word what they said, you're plagiarizing their thought.
I mean, he's promoting a video. Like, I don't.
Do you think he would have used that defense if he was right? Do you think he would have used that defense if it was right?
I don't think I would take that defense if I was right. I'd be like,
what
I tell no.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I guess I'm not on Twitter that much, so my shade and hate's directed towards another group of people right now. Like, I don't mind anyone. I don't know. I don't mind the video promotion on that.
Then say according
to just me.
No, just say according to scouts.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It could have been worded better.
You didn't. Sure. You took somebody else's word and ran with them as your own.
Yeah, that's like somebody typing something on Facebook that's literally word for word from Adam Schefter and proclaiming it their own. It's like, no. It's like, here, screenshot.
Those reporters are on Twitter too. You know?
Yep.
They moonlight as head coaches as well.
And I don't know how Greenberg's no life ass does it. Like he'll have it like 30 seconds after like Schefter, he'll have a whole tweet ready to go in the chamber. Like,
that guy never sleeps.
Good Lord.
Oh,
is there money in that?
He's tweeting injuries at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern time.
Getting requests
throw
for
some shade. Each of you go around, throw some shade.
We are.
Yeah,
we're doing it. That's the premise of the whole show.
You know what, though? I actually got some shade. I am going to throw some shade today at my guy, Luke Getsy, who I still stand by and say that I don't care what anyone says. He's still growing as a play caller. We don't know what he's ultimately going to end up being. I think he's done a lot of good with limited resources on this side of the ball. I think you've seen him not be stubborn and adjust to the talent he does have on hand and not let his ego get in the way to run his system. But today he got very conservative on 2 big drives when he got down in the red zone. And he seems to be developing a habit of getting a little too safe instead of especially
field goals.
Correct. Playing for field goals. And I'm sorry, even though the defense played better today, you're not in a position where you can, field goal an opponent to death because your defense is not that good. You got to score points. Justin needs the opportunities as well as other people on this offense in the red zone to get those reps. And you're 3-9. Take a chance. I think Getsy had a good first half. I liked his game plan overall, but his second half I thought was pretty pitiful. What do you guys think?
Agree.
I think if Justin made those 2 throws instead of interceptions, and I know there was a lot of factors factoring into why those 2 didn't work, I don't think we feel the same way about him ultimately because I think those 2 plays would have changed things a little bit. But the conservativeness, and he's shown it a couple times where you're just like playing to preserve a win, but he knows better against his quarterback.
Playing for field goals.
But he knows better. Like if he's been around Rodgers more than anybody. Like you don't give this dude. I don't care if he has one arm. If he's out there, like you don't give him too many opportunities. You're gonna get burnt. Correct. So like to show a conservative approach, only being up that much, I didn't like it either. I think Luke. I think you nailed it, Biscuits. I think, yes, he has shown the ability to adapt and coach his players' strengths. I like the guy overall. I just think I would like to see him with a little more talent before I make,
proclamation on him.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's completely fair. He could end up being it. The thing I am excited about, though, is, and I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think anyone's poaching him away for head coaching jobs. He might maybe get an interview like some of these guys do, just to get a guy in a room and talk to him, maybe for a couple years down the line. But I think it's going to be nice having him and Justin together for 2 seasons in a row. And I think with that talent infusion, it's going to be nice to get a better evaluation of who he is.
I want Herbert and Blasingame back as soon as possible.
Well, that Kari Blasingame being out hurt.
That's a big loss right there.
At one point, you had Schofield. At one point, Schofield was lined up as the fullback. It's like, ugh, that's not something I want to see.
No, and Evans has played way better than Ebner. But
yes, Darrington Evans made his.
I still want Herbert back.
Yeah, I think Diddy was really right about that, and not limited sample pool there on Twitter, but some people really pushed back on what his loss was going to be. I think it's definitely made a bigger impact, like Diddy was saying.
Absolutely, he's your explosive. He's your home run hitter. Other than Justin, he's the only running back that has the chance to take it to the house.
Correct.
And I like
and I like Demo, but
I like the pairing of both of them.
Both.
Yes,
yeah,
it is
exactly.
a physical guy and then a guy that can burn you. Like, that's perfect. You let Monty get the body punches in and bring in the speedster.
And Monty runs hard as fuck.
He does.
I ain't gonna say anything bad about.
No, he wears out a defense.
Yep, his tenacity.
The blueprint, really, for me, is how Dallas is using Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott this year, which is, Tony Pollard in between the 20s is the one getting them down there. And then you put in Montgomery or Elliott to, finish the job. I think I'd like to see. I think Herbert's just a better fit for this offense overall. Just like to see a little bit more of him when he comes back in terms of the load share.
I'd like to see Blasingame get some plays his way.
I just see him catch
we haven't seen any passes like
none
Tennessee
of the stuff we saw
utilized
Tennessee.
No. I'd like a play that we haven't seen is that fake power fullback play action. Where you run the play action to the running back, and the fullback fakes like he's going to lead, and then he does just a little out there.
Yeah,
we haven't seen that all year.
Did they run screens with Blasingame in Tennessee?
We haven't had any running back screens.
He took off on him too. He's
did.
Pretty fast for size.
Got to get him out there.
Well, Leatherwood's here, so it's only gonna get better.
Hey, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I watched it on the TV copy. I thought Justin helps him out a lot because he makes that end stay home. If he's uncovered, that end has to stay home, because if Justin reads, say he goes zone read and decides he's going to take off, he's the last hope. And, Leatherwood, long arms, got his hands on some people, didn't grab. Sooner we get him in, the better. Send Riley Reef home before you have to pay him on an incentive-laden contract. Why pay him when you could be paying Alex Leatherwood and finding out if he's something?
I don't think anybody cares, but
they should.
Oh, I care. I think it's important to see guys.
I'm just joking.
Okay. I was like, damn. I mean, at this point in the season, you're not, goals about seeing what you have for next year. You got to play some of these young
next
guys.
Couple of years.
Like, honestly, I wouldn't be upset if they don't play Kendall Vildor the rest of the year and see what you have in some of these other guys. I think you pretty much already know what Vildor is. I'm not sure he's a piece moving forward, personally.
Nah, I disagree.
You think so?
There's no pass rush.
Yeah,
none.
He wasn't really good even when there was a pass rush. Granted, the system probably fits him better now than it did before.
Last week, you would have said Vilder was our best cornerback on the field.
That's not saying much, Jer. We got shredded last week.
What about Jalen Johnson, though? He was there.
And Jalen Johnson's had a down year, has he not?
He's never been an interception guy. That's the problem with the corners. They're not turnover guys. We don't get a lot of turnovers sometimes.
That's hard to evaluate with this defense.
I know it. And when you don't get any pressure and you don't get any quarterback hits, This is part of it. And that's where my ultimate shade goes. Is this defensive line sucks fucking
on a
dick.
defense predicated on getting pressure with your front four.
True. I would just like to see them upgrade from Vildor. I mean, again, I think Diddy has said it a billion times on here. Gordon outside just makes way more sense, but they seem dedicated to keeping them at nickel. I think if you have an opportunity to, obviously, the front four, front seven in general need more work, but I don't know.
To be honest, like long term, I think that developing your defensive backs this early into your system, into your coaching career, they're actually going to be better from this long term because they're playing with absolute shit in front of them. When they get a good defensive line, these guys are going to be comfortable as fuck.
That's true.
Yeah.
And they're going to know when things break down because sometimes you get spoiled with a good defensive line too. And when shit does go south, at least they're getting the experience of they're playing pretty damn well. All things considered in front of them. Sam
that was a
too.
positive.
100%.
Yeah, that's a positive of the day. I mean, if there's a positive to take away other than, Justin's passing yards and this and that, the young defense, minus not getting any pressure, the DBs played really well.
They were allowed to. They let them play too. That does help, but that's good.
Correct.
That's good for their development because they should.
Until the refs wanted Green Bay back in the game.
So I'm gonna throw my shade real quick into Packers fans, all of you, because for the first time in my fandom, I don't want your quarterback over mine. I like the position I'm in with my quarterback way better than yours, and I've never been able to fucking say that. So go fuck yourselves. I think long term, and it's coming. Justin Fields is a way better situation at quarterback than you have.
Did you see that throw that he had in the flats?
Get that. Get you some of that up above your head right there.
You zoomed in. Hey, ladies. You zoomed in after I'm done, Jer. I'm just saying I think we are in a better position long-term at quarterback than the Packers. I'd much rather have Justin Fields than Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career. And hey, enjoy yourself. Salute these nuts, bitch. Fuck Aaron Rodgers, man.
Love it.
I'm just saying, fuck him. That bullshit. Salute.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
And everybody at my job's probably going to see that, so that's good. That's why I love going live when you broadcast this shit.
You're welcome.
I mean, something obviously is not right with him. That throw, I think, in the flats, I believe it was to Aaron Jones, like 3 feet away from him, and he sailed it over his head by a couple of yards. I've never seen him not make that throw.
Oh, he should be on the IR. He's just trying to be a tough guy.
Good times.
They still think they're alive in the playoff chase, though. So, ultimately,
they're alive till they're dead.
Keep going. Keep pushing yourself back in the draft. We're good.
That's the one thing about that fucker. They're alive till they're dead.
I mean, they need to win out, and they also need a lot of help, too.
You got a tie from the Giants and fucking Redskins or Commanders.
Certainly.
It did suck to get hurt again today, though, a little bit, because we did get kind of pumped up about it to have it kind of, here we go again. But we're used to it, at least. We handled it well.
We did.
Yeah.
We're used to disappointment.
But doesn't it feel good to get this out of our system on a Sunday?
Rather than stewing over it and being mad about it.
I think having that 24-hour just what are we going to talk about? Let's just get it out of our system.
Talk about.
I have to agree. Yeah.
Well, we got the bye week next. I think
Beautiful.
Vegas has us down 4. So
I don't even give a fuck, man. We got the bye week.
I'll leave you guys with one more question that I want your input on. Coming out of the bye week, what is one thing you would like to see from this team?
By the way, just to put things into perspective for you, it's Philly, Buffalo, Detroit, and Minnesota.
Oof. That's a gauntlet. That's brutal.
Philly coming to town.
Philly and Buffalo? Oh, my God. That might be reminiscent of the Patriots-Packers back-to-back 50 games when Tristman was here.
Buffalo's on Christmas Eve, bro.
Oh.
Santa done left.
Santa's bringing his big old sack, but it's Josh Allen.
Interesting. Josh Allen, you say? We won't get into that.
No, no, we're an hour in. No way.
Yeah, I don't want people to depony the pony.
But I am curious to hear what you guys have to say. What's one thing coming out of the bye week that you would like to see from this team?
I would like to see Chase Claypool get over 65 to 70 yards if he's healthy. And I like the direction we saw today. And I don't know that I think Philadelphia is a team you can kind of I think you can throw on them a little bit. I mean, most teams can throw on them. I won't say we can, but most teams can throw on them a little bit. So I'd like to see them be able to pass, protect. Don't let Robert Quinn get 3 sacks on you. And just be respectable. You know? Just be respectable. Don't get blown out. Don't tank in the essence of just quit on the team. Just be respectable.
All right. Diddy, what about you?
I want to see Justin have that game that we're just like, yeah. I want to see him have like over 300 yards passing. I know the statistics ultimately don't matter, but it's scoring and getting points. I get that. But like, I'd like to see him throw for over 300 in one of these games and have a clean game and show progress all 4 of these games. As long as we're seeing progression, I'm good. And I think I want to see the balance too. So like I know it was because his shoulder was hurt. He would have probably taken off more. I get that. But like to have that balance of the pass and run, I just want to see a complete game like that from him. And I know the mistakes are going to happen, but I just hope he gets to that point where we're like, yeah, so now we're seeing the anticipation stuff. I'd like to see a lot of development out of him because these games at this point in the season, it's not make or break. Like we understand there's going to be mistakes. So I just want to see him be able to go through that and get those live reps. And the effort, like Jer said, from everybody. Like if we continue to see that, that's a good sign.
Yep.
Now EQ wasn't available for interview. I guess he usually is. Like I think he took this one to heart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was out of the locker room. Yeah. But I don't really care who gets the yards. I would like to see that relationship between him and Claypool get better too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to see key guys stay healthy. I think that's the most important thing because you do not want to lose somebody for next year or anything like with a season that is now record-wise is meaningless.
Correct.
And we got more Rush in the chat.
Yeah. I think...
Why are you blocking him, Jerry? I'm trying to see these links.
No, it's good. The other thing I want to see is if Alex Leatherwood can be a thing. There it is. I'm gonna ride that thing till it's gone, man.
Pause.
Wait, I'm looking at the chat, reading what you just blocked. While you're saying you're gonna ride that thing till it's gone.
Sorry.
Pony, dirty pony.
I think Jer kind of nailed what I was going to say, which is the direction that they kind of took it today and given Justin more opportunities in the passing game. The one thing I want to see is Justin get those reps. We already know he can run, and these last 4 games, I think you're going to be playing from behind quite a bit. So I think it's going to force them to, kind of a knock that's been the last couple of weeks is when he's forced to throw, when we're forced to throw as an offense, it doesn't look good. So I think these next 4 weeks will be a test. I really want them to give him these reps, as bad as they might be. And like Diddy said, the mistakes, they're okay. It's okay to see, some of those things, but he needs the reps. And I'd rather him get it out of the way now in meaningless games at the end of the season and have a leg up in 2023. That's what I want to see.
I want to get Jer an auto-tune set up. And I want him to sing, I want to take my Leatherwood down the Old Town Road and ride till I can't no more. Like a parody song. I think I'm going to write that for you, Jer.
Nice.
Jer wants to ride that Leatherwood. That's what I found.
Oh, yeah, baby. Ride him all the way to hopefully a starting right tackle.
Let it breathe.
I'm trying not to even envision that.
Maybe nice.
Secretly,
you got Borum as a swing tackle. If you like what you have in Jones, I don't think you should hesitate to. If one of the top offensive tackles available, I don't think it's a position you pass.
Or the 2. The 2 I mentioned are the.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, by the way,
McGlinchey's not good. I heard.
Oh my God,
McGlinchey. I
Good
mean,
Lord.
Larry Borum's putting up better comparable stats than McGlinchey. Guys, you didn't know?
I will say this: that bar closes a lot earlier than when we used to be involved with it. It's like a senior citizen bar popping bullshit now. So that's all I'll say about that, man. Like, oof.
Just the quarterback variable at play there just flaws those statistics. That's
Yeah,
just-
McGlinchey doesn't have a quarterback that runs 20 miles an hour to
correct,
like,
100%.
correct mistakes.
Just a wild assertion there, but hey, that's okay.
Oh, I take McGlinchey all day. Come on, man.
100%.
Like, stop it now.
I'd take Conklin too.
There you go.
Anyway.
Got to at least get one of the top guys.
Got to get that interior fixed consistently, and it starts at center. Patrick's got to be the guy.
Oh no!
You rather see Leatherwood at tackle or guard?
I'd like to see him if he's playing well at right tackle. Let's keep him at right tackle.
You think he'd be a better guard though? I mean, this is your guy. This is your.
I think he's a tackle.
Deep
I've
in that
always thought he
Leatherwood.
was a tackle.
JR, would you be comfortable going into next season with Lucas Patrick as the starting center?
Yes.
Oh, if he's healthy, yeah.
Sam Mustipher can be your backup. He can be a great backup.
I just
You're
don't
gonna pay
know.
Sam. I mean,
What is
Sam
Lucas
Mustipher's
Patrick though? What has Lucas Patrick shown this year that we would feel?
The couple plays he was in, it looked good.
Yeah.
It's such a small sample size. I mean, if you're saying, hey, it's either this or Sam Mustipher, of course I'm taking Lucas Patrick, but
Well,
he's far from a sure.
Guess
thing at
what?
this
That's
point.
probably what it is.
The small sample size I saw was a big difference.
I'm just saying, if you have a chance to get a top center, I mean, hey, I'm not passing that up.
That line.
I mean,
that
Dougie
line,
Kramers is coming
Oh,
that
is
small
he?
sample
Where's he
size I
coming?
saw, biscuits. That line looked
in
a
the
lot more.
Leatherwood.
That line looked much more confident when Patrick stepped in.
Yep. That's what they practiced with most of the offseason. That's what they knew, and then it was taken away. So anyway,
Hopefully they get it right. Just rebuild the trenches, Poles. That's all we need. Like basically, the heart of the engine. That's all we need.
yep. Just need the heart. And on that note,
At least I think we all can agree that we feel we do have the quarterback
yep.
so far, right?
So
Like-
far, so good.
Okay.
I think yes, I think he has the potential to be the guy. He has to get better himself, and the Bears actually have to add and develop around him for once. So definitely more optimistic now than I was.
I'm not
earlier.
saying he is that guy right now. I'm saying we feel like we could see him being that guy, and that
He's a guy that's at
ultimately-
least worth building around right
Yeah.
now, 100%.
not that many people are going to hear what we have to say anyway. But fuck it.
That's right. Fuck them all. Let's wrap us up.
I'd like to see Tyler Huntley here next year as a backup, though. Just saying.
Yeah. And that's just another episode of the Tailgate Show.
Sanborn Experience.
Deep in the Leatherwood.
The bye week, thank God.
Shit. Like we've had enough, haven't we? It's going to be a rough